As you board, please move across your car to make room for everyone, and kindly offer available seating to those needing special assistance.
Hey, howdy, hey, and welcome to another episode of Disney Assemble. I'm Troy,
And I'm Mimi.
and we are your happy little father-daughter podcast, here to create joy and share our love for all things Disney.
Disney Assembled is sponsored by our patrons over on Patreon. If you would like to join them, check out patreon.com/DisneyAssembled.
Yeah, we'd appreciate your consideration there. Membership starts as little as $2 a month. With that, you get access to all the exclusive patron-only content. It has been quite a week. It is October 2nd. It's Wednesday, October 2nd, 2024. We're recording this, so
Yes,
what a week.
it is only October 2nd, and it is somehow the busiest week I have ever had. A few weeks ago, I had a really big social week. Like, I had a lot going on in my social life, but this week I just have a ton of homework. It's like, it's not midterms because I don't have midterms, but it is the middle of the semester. So there's like essays and presentations and exams, and there's a lot going on. And nobody wants to test the week of Texas OU, which is next weekend. So everybody's testing now. And so there's a lot going
get it out of the way, yeah. Well, we'll get an episode out this week anyway, because we need to have this conversation. It'll be, I'll respect your time. We're not going to be on too long, but we want to make sure we get a show out. We released a show earlier this week, because we didn't really miss a week. We kind of missed a week. I guess we kind of missed a week.
We did kind of miss a week, yeah.
But we put out 2 episodes this week. So we had a special episode that dropped this morning. And so if you are a subscriber to the podcast, and hopefully you listen to that, we decided to upload a best of Disney Assembled series. It's the first time we've done from the archives a best of episode. So I released our favorite villains episode from 2020. And it was interesting because in the beginning of the episode, you had just started high school, because you talked about this was my first week of high school. And so it was kind of interesting. So, but yeah. So if you're a subscriber to the show and you're listening to this, thank you so much. You would have gotten that extra episode, today as we're recording, but when this episode comes out, hopefully on Sunday, October 6th, maybe a Sunday, something like that.
Sunday is the 6th.
Yeah, Sunday 6th.
So yeah. The 4th. So yeah. What's going on in your life?
Me, I'm feeling a little bit better.
Good.
And I've been combing my hair differently since I got a haircut.
I like it.
Thank you.
Looks good.
Somebody said it looks more dapper. I don't know if that's good or not. Dapper. I was pleased and honored and at the time that you're hearing this episode, this other episode for this other podcast would have been released already. But I was thrilled. I was a guest this week on the Dillo's Diz podcast with Frank and Jen. It was great because it was great because a lot of people in the chat are part of the gang that I met when I was down at Disney for the Disney Institute and caught up with them on their meetup. So that was great to revisit that trip and that visit. I know you and I are going to talk some more about my experience with the Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween party at some point, but not today, right? But
no, that's scheduled for later in the Halloween season.
Yeah. So if you're listening to this episode and you're not listening to the Dillo's Diz podcast, that's Dillo's with an S, Diz with a Z, check them out. They are fantastic. You need it. If you're not checking them out, they come with,
they're great.
Highly recommended. Please do that. Frank and Jen are great. So, but that's that. I know we have a trivia question from last week or from this past episode that we need to give little claps to because we had some correct answers.
Yes, we do. I have to.
We'll have a new trivia question at the end of this episode. We'll have a Disney Dad joke before the main topic. But would you want to describe to everyone what the main topic of this week is? Because I know you were pretty excited about this one.
Yeah. So I have been. I don't know if you guys know this, but I'm tentatively pre-law. Kind of, not really sure.
That's news to me.
I want just some Mimi lore for the Disney Assembled fans. I am a political communication major currently at UT. I'm hoping to pick up a double major in either government or American studies, and I want to work in politics. And I don't want to be a politician. I want to be a campaign manager. So with that potentially comes law school or a master's study in public policy. so I've been looking into like the pre-law like track. It's not really a program at UT. It's just kind of something you say, like you're like, I'm doing this and I'm taking the LSAT. I'm going to law school. So with that, because I've been reading into it and it's course registration season and I'm still figuring out if I want to pick up American studies or government. I've been thinking a lot about the idea of like cases and trials and all this stuff. And so I've decided that this week or for the next few weeks for this little mini series, we're going to be pleading the case for each Disney park going in favorite order. So today, we are going to be pleading our case as to why Hollywood Studios, which is our favorite park, why it is the best of the American Disney parks. So we will be
give you all the reasons.
Giving you all the reasons that Hollywood Studios is just amazing. And then we're going to go through the list, I think, by the order of our favorite, which is pretty cool. So I'm very excited because we don't really talk about Hollywood Studios that much, even though it is our favorite park. We've mentioned Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway in at least like every other episode, but we don't ever really talk about Hollywood Studios. So this will be fun.
Well, maybe after listening to this episode, more people will appreciate Hollywood Studios a little bit more because just, try not to fall out of your chair. For a lot of people, it is their least favorite park. Now, I don't know who these people are.
So
they're out there. Right? They are out there. There are people who do not think that Hollywood Studios is all it is. And maybe after listening to what we have to say about it today,
we'll change their mind.
People may, they may be giving it a second look, maybe a second look. So we'll do that. And
yeah, just a little bit rundown about my life, what's going on with me. If you're watching on YouTube, I don't know if you can hear it in the audio quality because I can hear myself, but I can't hear my audio quality on Papa's end. I am actually recording this week's episode in the Moody College of Communication student audio recording booth. So I have a nice professional microphone and nice professional headphones and a nice professional booth where I can make myself louder and then I can make myself softer and then I can put it back to normal just as I had it, as to not annoy everybody. And it's interesting. It's got
you have sound panels all over the wall, so there's no echo in there or anything.
No echo. Yeah, it's kind of weird. It's not bad. Don't get me wrong. It's fantastic. I just
and I'm in Disney Assembled headquarters, aka the guest room.
Okay, but Disney Assembled headquarters sounds pretty good. It's really not.
Yeah, I'm happy with it. It's fine.
No, it sounds it sounds good. So I'm trying it out. I don't know if it's going to make any difference on the sound quality. Do you think it does?
I think it sounds fantastic, and we'll have to wait till the finished product comes out. But I think for right now, what I can hear through my AirPod, it sounds great.
Awesome. Okay, so that's
maybe our listeners can let us know how you sound.
I just wanted to tell everybody because I'm so excited. Like we're taking this professional. We're going pro, guys.
We're going about that. That would mean we're actually getting paid, right? So
yeah, no, I just walked up and I said, "Is that room available for the rest of the day?" And the kid running the desk was like, "I'm sure it is." And then I walked in.
Well,
and I'm not even
let's just hope nobody walks in.
Yeah, there's a monitor like right here that I'm technically supposed to be using, but I can't log into it because I tried to use my UT student ID and it was like, "That's not your password." It definitely is. So
yeah. Well,
anyway, okay. So before we can jump into Hollywood Studios, we have to do two very important traditions.
Mm-hmm.
The good tradition and your tradition.
Okay.
So
we have a trivia answer.
We do have a trivia answer. So last week's trivia question was, what is the name of Nemo's teacher in the film Finding Nemo? And I've got to be real. This one is not that hard. More of you should have gotten the answer, I will say. But we do have our loyal fans. And Andrew and his girlfriend, whose name I can't remember right now.
I think it's Lizel.
Lizel? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Andrew and Lizel got this one correct. And the answer is Mr. Ray.
Yay. Little claps.
Little claps. Little claps.
A little clap sound from the professional studio, but
I don't know. I can't wait to find out after I get to look at this in audition. So
congratulations, you guys.
Congratulations, you guys. This is awesome.
You defended your title as smartest people we know. The rest of you need to chime in, listen to the question at the end of the episode, and see if you can dethrone Andrew.
I think you guys might not be able to do that, but you can certainly try. So there will be another Disney trivia question at the end of the episode. Make sure you stick
Absolutely.
around to listen to it.
Yeah, stick around for that. And I know what you've been sticking around for up to this point is what has been said to be the highlight of the show, or the one of the highlights of all Disney podcasts that are out there. It is the official Disney Dad Joke of the Week from Disney Assembled. So, Mimi, are you ready for this week's Disney Dad Joke of the Week?
I'm so excited.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, and Disney fans of all sorts, it is time for this week's Disney Dad Joke of the Week. Mimi.
Yes.
You know, when you book a trip to Walt Disney World, you can get insurance. They'll sell you an insurance plan for your trip, right? For the resort stay. However, if you're staying at the Fort Wilderness campgrounds, there's a slight problem with the insurance plan. Basically, if your tent gets stolen while you're there, you won't be covered.
That's so funny.
So
that is so silly.
That is this week's Disney Dad Joke of the Week. If you have a dad joke of the Disney variety, or just a joke in general, the Disney variety, that you would like us to consider using on the show, please send it to us, disneyassembled@gmail.com, or all the socials at Disney Assembled.
At Disney Assembled. Please.
That's right.
Please do it. We love to hear y'all's jokes. Sometimes they're just as good as Papa's, and sometimes they aren't, and that's okay.
And we love to give credit where credit is due. All right, we need to jump into this conversation. Disney's Hollywood Studios, originally,
it's the best part.
Disney's MGM Studios. So, as Frank and Jen on Dillo's Dills would say, hashtag always MGM, has gone through, let me tell you something. Disney's Hollywood Studios has gone through a number of changes, which I think is part of the reason why it's the best studio, right? The name change, not so much. Right. But I understand why the name changed. But there used to be the giant Mickey sorcerer's hat in the middle. That's gone now.
Yes.
And of course, there are some other changes that are not so welcome by some of the community. We'll get to that here in a few minutes. But there are a lot of things about this park that make it really unique, really special, and make it the best park. So do you want to start with giving maybe a reason or two why you think
I just want to give a quick overview.
You're going to give an overview?
Okay. A specific reason. And maybe it's just because I'm a youngin' and that I haven't been around very long. But I might venture to say, which might be a crazy hot take for some people, that I think Disney's Hollywood Studios is in its golden years right now. And I know that's a hot take. I know everybody misses MGM and everybody misses the Sorcerer Hat and the Great Movie Ride and the Backlot Tour and everything that MGM was. But what I think people don't realize, and my point kind of ultimately leads to this, like all of my points go back to this, the heavy hitters, the most popular attractions in the entire park, in the entire resort, are at Hollywood Studios. And those would not have come without the closing of these sort of iconic classic things. Now, do I think Magic Kingdom is in its prime? No. I think Magic Kingdom's prime was absolutely the early 2000s, or the late 2000s, the early 2010s. But I think Hollywood Studios has pivoted in a direction that loyalists don't like, but I think it was a direction that's necessary, and a direction that I think is extremely beneficial. Like without Slinky Dog, without Rise of the Resistance, without Mickey Minnie's, like these are some, hot ticket attractions, right? Like these aren't just, it's not like they're building attractions that are just like, like these are some of the most popular attractions in the entire resort. So that's my overview of Hollywood Studios. It's not really a main point. I can expand on all of those in my main points, but why don't you actually start with your specific reasons for Hollywood
So I'm going to give you a reason right off the bat, and I'm wearing the shirt right now. Trust me, I'm a Jedi. Of course, the Backlot Tour was extremely popular when it was MGM Studios, and it was very true to the original vision of what the park was supposed to be. But with the change to Galaxy's Edge, Black Spire Outpost on the planet of Batuu, I think that is one of the main reasons why I would say that Disney's Hollywood Studios is the best park. Because literally, I think that the Galaxy's Edge part of Hollywood Studios is one of the most immersive experiences you can have at any Disney park. Every single cast member in Galaxy's Edge has a backstory that they create. So you can go to anyone. They could be selling soda. They could be selling, food, whatever. If you talk to them, they should have a backstory. So they're part of the planet, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's the Millennium Falcon. There's the Millennium Falcon attraction, Smuggler's Run, which is going to have some new show scenes, right? Because they're eventually going to be adding some Mandalorian stuff in there. It would be great. Rise of Resistance. I mean, yeah, it breaks down a little bit. It's down a lot, but it is a Imagineering masterpiece.
Oh,
right?
absolutely.
It is a masterpiece of storytelling. Oga's Cantina. Whether you love it, whether you don't love it, it's very immersive. And quite frankly, if you're there with the right crowd, it can be a lot of fun. Characters walking around, the stormtroopers, Kylo Ren, Rey, Chewbacca, Mando. We saw Mando in there. So to
Ahsoka
me,
in California.
Exactly, because they have the West Coast version, East Coast version. So to me, one of the huge reasons why Disney's Hollywood Studios is the best park has everything to do with Galaxy's Edge.
Right. I think people want things that are immersive. I think things that are popular now within the not just Disney, but within the theme park community as a whole is the immersive quality to it. I think it's why people like the Animal Kingdom Lodge. Because on paper, the Animal Kingdom Lodge is literally like awful. Like, I don't know why anyone would stay there. It is so far away. You have to take a bus. It's really reclusive. There isn't really anywhere to eat, whatever. There's nothing out there, but it's super, super immersive, right? And that's been popular.
We're not going to talk about Animal Kingdom today. We're going to get to Animal Kingdom later.
But my point is that what the market wants is this, immersive storytelling. They want to feel like they're part of the world, and Galaxy's Edge delivers in every single way. And I think that is absolutely why Hollywood Studios is the best park. It has that nostalgia to it too. It plays on the emotions a little bit with the Millennium Falcon. I mean, I've seen like grown men like cry when they walk up to it. It's like, it's
Stop shaming me.
It's just like I don't know. It hits every single thing a human being could want in entertainment.
What reason do you have? I gave my reason. You give a reason.
One of my reasons why I think Hollywood Studios is the best park in the Walt Disney World Resort is also going to go with, the immersive storytelling in Toy Story Land. Toy Story Land is like my favorite area in any of the parks. If you could say you can only hang out in one land and ride, 3 rides, like which ones would you do? And I was like, put me in Toy Story Land. I think it is just precious. I think it's adorable. I think it's perfectly done with the fence in the background and the footprints and the toys that talk to you and the way that the characters are out. Literally always. There was literally always a character out in Toy Story Land, whether it's Buzz, whether it's Woody and Jesse, whether it's the Green Army Men, there's always someone is out, right? And then Toy Story Mania is one of the most like popular attractions of all time, right? Like people love it. And Slinky Dog Dash, I think, does an amazing job at telling the story it needs to tell. Do I think it's the best roller coaster on the resort? No. But I think it tells the story of the land perfectly. It ties it all together. It goes across the whole thing. There's nowhere where you can go. You can't run from it, right? It's the focal point. And I think that that's really amazing. And the swirling saucers aren't anything special, but the theming is so sweet and it's so cute. And, I love it. Like I will stand in line for every single kiddie attraction in Toy Story Land. And I think that with the rise of people my age and the people a little bit older than me who were watching Toy Story in real time, right? I mean, Toy Story obviously predates me, but Toy Story 2 and Toy Story 3 do not, right? We were raised on this. We were raised on Toy Story. And I think that attracts a certain crowd. I think it's timeless. I think Toy Story is truly, truly timeless. It's a classic. It never goes out of style, just like Star Wars. So that is why I think Hollywood Studios is the best park. It's got that really awesome, like nerdy immersion, and then also like the classic kiddie nostalgia immersion. Right. So I think we could lump these together as being like immersive storytelling is like number one reason for Hollywood Studios.
I think you're right. And I love Toy Story Land too. Don't sleep on Alien Swirling Saucers. I like that ride. I enjoy that ride a lot. So I agree with you. I think Toy Story Land is fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have another reason? What's your next one?
I got plenty of reasons, right? My next reason is literally one word and one word only, and it is the only word that matters when it comes to saying words. Muppets.
Muppets.
Let me tell you something about the Muppets. I'm a child of the 70s, and that original Muppet Show was extraordinarily impactful in my life.
It's the Muppet Show with very special guest star Disney assembled.
Yeah, one would only hope. But let me tell you
Right.
something. The Muppets Vision 3D is classic. I go to that attraction every single time we're in the studios. It is one of the things that I do every single time. Muppet Vision 3D. They've put new seats in there. They've got new pre-show elements that they've cleaned up when I went last time and I saw. So listen, I know there's rumors. I don't want to hear them. I don't want to do. We're not even going to put it out in the universe. We're not even going to put it out in the universe.
Nope.
Because I like Monsters Inc. too. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. But Muppets are something special.
It is a place for Muppets. And I like the little details. I like the humor that they've built into that area. I know they have the Pizza Rizzo restaurant. Yeah. But I'm not talking about food. I'm talking about the Muppet humor. So if you go at night, you can see it during the day a little bit, but the sign, Pizza Rizzo's sign, the neon blinks like it goes in and out. And there's a point of it, and there's videos of this, you can look them up on YouTube, where it goes out and it says Rat Pizza. So instead of saying Pizza Rizzo's Pizzeria or whatever, it says Rat Pizza because all the other lights go out. Right.
That's funny.
So Muppets. That's why Hollywood Studios and look, if they want to, they used to have the Muppets in Liberty Square a little bit. They'd come out in the little windows and do stuff. This is like kind of after COVID or during COVID.
Oh,
right
yeah,
after all that.
Like the Sam Eagle and all
Bring back the Muppets to Liberty Square.
Bring that back, bro.
Do it. Make Liberty Square Muppets again.
Yeah.
That's what I say. All right, so Muppets is another reason why Hollywood Studios is the best.
I think there's something to be said about an attraction that has not been changed since the day it opened. And it still has popularity. The theater is still full.
I have one problem with that attraction and one problem only.
I have one problem with that attraction too. What is yours?
So mine is at the end, the Sweetums character, the big one that comes running out, the big monster looking Muppet character. Right. He's live in front of you.
Right.
There's also a Sweetums in the video that makes, because it looks like the building blows up and you're looking out into the studios park.
Right.
There's a Sweetums out there.
Right.
That is my only problem with it, is that there's two of them. Right. Now,
Sweetums comes back inside before the end.
Yeah, but I think there's a moment where you can see
where it overlaps and it's weird. Right, yeah. Right. So, my problem with it is that I don't think the blowing up the theater is appropriate anymore, but that's not exactly the conversation we're having right now. But I think there's something to be said about the sticking power of an attraction that literally has not been touched since it started. I mean, the show has not been changed. You can tell, it's very clearly from when it was, conceived. And I really love the Muppets so much. I'm going to pivot my next reason a little bit into something that people may or may not care about. But for me, ambiance is a huge part of the experience for me. I have said multiple times before on the show that I will listen to the Tomorrowland ambiance music because it just scratches an itch in my brain. It makes me feel calm, it makes me feel at home, and I will do homework to it. I have a 2-hour loop, YouTube video running. And I think the ambiance in Hollywood Studios is just incredible. Say whatever you want about whether or not Studios has diverged from its original point with the old Hollywood and the Bagua tour, that whole thing. Say whatever you want about that, but it somehow captures the golden age of Hollywood with the jazz music at the entrance and on Sunset Boulevard really, really well. You walk in and you would have no idea that there's an entire Star Wars world that exists, 200 feet from where you are, 200 yards from where you are, right? I think that part of the ambiance is just so perfect. It captures it so well. And then I think the Star Wars ambiance is great too, with the droids and the goofy, like very flute and violin heavy music that's very Star Wars-esque, right? And then even Toy Story Land has that ambiance. Like every single area of this park is developed really well in a way that the other areas are, but not as much. You know what I'm saying? There's a very clear vibe to each section of this park, even if it's not like this crazy like Star Wars or Toy Story theme, right? Like Sunset Boulevard doesn't really have a theme, but it has a distinct sound. And I really, really appreciate that.
No, I agree with you. I think it has a very unique sort of feel to it. And the transition from one area to the next is smooth. And yeah, it has a vibe. And
Yeah.
I think it's got a cool vibe. So I agree with you. That's another reason why it's a great park.
Mm-hmm.
I have another reason why Hollywood Studios is the best park, and it's going to be live action entertainment. So I'm going to list all the fantastic live action entertainment that exists, right? You've got the Indiana Jones stunt spectacular.
Gotta love
That
it.
is, it's been going, it's like the Muppets. It just keeps going and keeps going and keeps going. It is
And it
a
always gets better.
fantastic show. Right.
Right.
The theater always got people in it. Right.
Right.
It is
It's
it is a
never
great
empty.
right. The Frozen sing along, fantastic show. Absolutely for adults and kids.
I didn't know
They
the
have the
Frozen
humor.
live.
Yeah, they got the adult. They got humor in there for the adults. They got some jokes, right? They're not adult jokes, right? But they're jokes that their adults will get. And then there's the songs, and the kids love the songs, and they care. It's fun, right?
Mm-hmm.
You've got it's getting ready to come back, right? But they have the Little Mermaid, the sing show, right?
Right.
It's there.
There's always a market for the Little Mermaid.
Exactly. You've got the Disney Junior sing along show.
That's been around forever. I went to that when I was before Disney Junior was even called Disney Junior, when it was just Disney Channel, but it was the kids version and didn't have a special name. I went to that when like the little Einsteins were in it. Like that's been around forever. That's a classic.
Yeah, and I'm probably forgetting something. I thought there was.
I mean, the Green Army Men are live entertainment.
Yeah, well, right. I mean, the character interaction stuff, but I'm just saying,
really
just in general. Well, yeah, I mean, they come and they play the drums and they do the little.
Yeah, like there's a lot to do.
But the live action entertainment is very good at Disney's Hollywood Studios. Bring back the Citizens of Hollywood too. Why are they waiting to bring back the Citizens of Hollywood? Though they would come into the area and they would say, yeah. So yeah, live action entertainment, fantastic.
Love
Definitely
it.
a reason why Hollywood Studios is the best.
Yeah.
Do you have another reason? I have maybe one more that I you know what? I just remembered live action entertainment. I remember the one I forgot.
Huh.
I can't believe I forgot this one. Phantasmic.
Oh, duh.
I mean,
Phantasmic is awesome. I think Phantasmic could be a reason all on its own. Like this wasn't the one that I was going to say, but Phantasmic is a reason in of itself. I would pick Phantasmic over Luminous, but not over Happily Ever After, I will say. But Phantasmic is like people ran to the gates when it opened again. You know what I'm saying? Like people, when they dropped the Easter egg on the map, people flipped. Phantasmic is like its own cult following somehow. Like I don't even know how that happens. How does a fireworks show have its own cult following? Like Phantasmic is just amazing. It's fantastic. Like it's just, I think,
right.
I prefer Happily Ever After because I like the music a little bit. It's like all warm and fuzzy. But I think the true artistry of Phantasmic, like nothing can beat it.
Right.
I think when I watched it for the first time, I was in complete awe. It's so with the water and the fireworks and the live and the Aladdin and then he swings and then the dragon and fire. It's so cool. Anyway.
I have two more reasons. How many more reasons do you have?
Well, off the top of my head, I have one more.
Okay. You want me to do one of mine, then you do yours, and then I do my last one? How do you want to do it?
I'm scared one of yours is mine. And then I won't have any.
I will then do yours.
Mine is the food in Hollywood Studios.
Okay, that's not one of mine. So go for it. Go for it.
Mine is the food in Hollywood Studios, like, admittedly can be hit or miss, and that there aren't very many options. So I mainly want to focus on the Brown Derby. The Brown Derby is, like, known as one of the best restaurants on property, and I think it absolutely lives up to that title. I think it's so good. Like I got the fish, it was fantastic, and the mac and cheese is fantastic. I think also the sci-fi diner is a really popular one that people just love. It's so hard to get in there. I think the 50s prime time is not everyone's favorite restaurant because of the theming. It's just kind of harsh, but it stays in character and you can appreciate that. I think the only one for me that I would say is a flop is Hollywood and Vine, but that's because I think all buffet style character meals are a flop, like Chef Mickey, Hollywood and Vine, like they're all kind of the same, right? They're not anything particularly special, but every park has one, right? So it's Tusker House. Like it's not necessarily fair to say that, but I think if you want to eat well, Hollywood Studios is a good spot. I think
Don't
Woody's
forget the Galaxy's Edge. They got
Galaxy's Edge.
the Ronto wraps.
The Ronto wraps are pretty popular. Andy's Lunchbox is popular. The barbecue place is also pretty popular. It's not everyone's favorite, but I like it.
Yeah, it's good.
The theming makes up for the fact that the food is not always the greatest.
The
right?
food was
But
great. I really enjoyed the food.
I think the food is good. I don't have a problem with the food, but the theming is amazing, and I think the theming can make up for any complaints about the food. And really, just comes down to the Brown Derby. I think the Brown Derby is just amazing and 100% worth the bang for your buck.
Yep.
And that was my take on food. Sorry.
All right. Well, those are great reasons why Hollywood Studios is the best park. I have two more reasons, and we're about 31 minutes into this recording, so I'm going to try to get through them. I'll respect them, but I won't pontificate too long.
Okay.
All right. One, it's the man himself, Walt Disney, the man, the one man's vision or whatever it is, the little museum to Walt that you can walk through. That is so cool. A lot of people skip that. Do not skip that.
Did you do that on your
through? Oh, I definitely did it because there's so many cool things in there that tells the story of Walt Disney's, how he got started in animation and then how everything became like into the theme parks. And there's displays and really cool stuff from like the archives. Like, don't skip that. If you're in Hollywood Studios, you need to walk through the Walt Disney, and I think it's called One Man's Dream. It's like a museum. It's a walkthrough, right? You need to do that. So that's another reason, because I don't think any of the other parks specifically have a place where you can walk through and learn stuff like that. Like that's unique to Hollywood Studios. All right. The last reason is the mouse himself, Mickey Mouse. Right? There's two things at Hollywood Studios that are completely dedicated to Mickey Mouse. And I love both of them. The first is Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. I really like this attraction.
It's amazing.
For those of you who are screaming at your podcast player about the Great Movie Ride, let me explain. And I've explained this before. I loved the Great Movie Ride. I wished that it stayed and Mickey and Minnie's was a different ride somewhere else, but it's not. And you can love Mickey and Minnie's and the Great Movie Ride. You don't have to pick one or the other. You can have the nostalgia and love the Great Movie Ride and appreciate Mickey and Minnie's for what it is, which is a really cool way to give Mickey his attraction. I think it's a really good story.
It's the only attraction that features Mickey Mouse.
Right. And it's a lot of fun.
And it's a lot of fun, and the technology is cool. Like when the room changes between the Smusher room to the park, like what? But
there's another thing.
But
there's another part where Mickey is there. And I'm just going to say one word. Because like before, sometimes you only need to say one word and one word alone, and one word says it all. And the word is Potato Land.
Oh, duh. Potato.
You need to go see the short, the Mickey short.
It's so cute.
And when you sit in the theater, pay attention to the style that the chairs are, because the chairs are decorated to look like Mickey's shorts. And you're going in to see a Mickey short.
Yep. That's adorable.
And when you come out, Potato Land.
Love it.
I mean, amazing. One word says it all. Potato Land.
Amazing. We didn't even get into
one reason why. So we've done all our reasons why Hollywood Studios is the best park. Do you want to give one reason why it's not?
Why it's not the best park?
Yeah.
I think it very much strays away from the original message of the park. Well, I think they all kind of do that now because, things have to change. I think it has done that the most. Hollywood Studios has done that the most. And I think that although the immersive storytelling is very cool and very appreciated on my end, it does feel like a theme park. Does that make sense? And when I'm in Animal Kingdom or when I'm in Epcot, I don't feel like I'm in a theme park. But when I'm in Hollywood Studios, sometimes it's moments like when you're standing outside Andy's waiting for your food to be finished that you can go inside where you're like, I'm at a theme park. And I think Hollywood Studios has that effect because it is so IP heavy. It's like shoving Toy Story and Star Wars down your throat.
Right.
As immersive and as cool as it is, right? Like that doesn't take away from how awesome it is. But there are moments where you like snap out of it and you're like, oh, like this is sensory overload.
My reason, Star Wars Launch Bay.
Yeah, that too.
That's my reason. Right.
That's
all right, Mimi.
This has been
really good.
The tower. We didn't talk about the Cars thing. We didn't talk about any of that.
Well,
but those all go without saying, right? Everyone loves the tower.
I think that's all part of the ambiance.
Right. No, yeah. And I think, yeah.
And it also gives people an insight into the part of that park that we don't spend a lot of time in.
Right. I mean, yeah. So if you guys have any thoughts on why you think Hollywood Studios is the best park, or if you have any rebuttals to our arguments, feel free to send us an email. In this email, you can say all those things. You can also answer this week's trivia question, which is, in Aladdin, which character is referred to as Street Rat? So you all know the answer. I know you do because you've all seen Aladdin. You've all know the songs. So if you guys have any thoughts on this episode and answer to the question, please send us an email, disneyassembled@gmail.com, or you can send us a message on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, all at Disney Assembled. But if you guys want to support the show further, links to our TeePublic, Patreon, buy us a Dole Whip, all that other really awesome stuff is on the website, disneyassembled.com. Make sure to go check it out.
Yeah, please do so. We'd really appreciate that. And of course, the best thing you can do to help us with the show and help us create more joy is to share the show with your friends on your own social networks. Leaving us a rating and review if you're able to on your podcast player of choice is always appreciated, especially the reviews. And if you're listening to us on Good Pods, help us climb the charts. We want to reach that number one spot on the chart. So share the show, rate the show, share it, comment, whatever it is you can do on Good Pods. You can do all that stuff on Good Pods. It's like a combination podcast player and social network. So check it out on Good Pods. We'd really appreciate that. And we have a YouTube channel. So I've put some stuff on YouTube recently, some videos from the Mickey's Not So Scary Boo to You parade. So go watch the Boo to You parade. It's in 5 segments on the YouTube channel. So do that. Subscribe. Do all the good stuff. Am I forgetting something? Ratings, reviews, YouTube, TikToks, all that good stuff.
No, I think that's it. Virtual high five.
Yeah.
Love it.
Awesome. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for listening. We hope this episode brought a smile to your face, some extra magic to your day, and that very important sprinkle of pixie dust to your week. Thank you again for listening, and until next time, see you real soon.
Please collect your belongings, watch your head and step, and take small children by the hand.